If you do any serious shooting, be sure to aim at Bob. He's the one with the orange shirt on.
Yeah, folks, this is our Wednesday night show, the Wild Bob and Ronnie show on Doug TV, going all over the world, including into Damascus, Syria, where I'm sure
No, they ain't got nothing to do except watch this food.
I'm sure they're very, very concerned about what we have to say regarding the incursion into Syria.
The Aflac Duck has managed to put together a package the Senate can approve.
Has he?
Yeah, he's got his nose and everything.
Hey.
I don't know where we found him, but we need to send him home.
Right, I know that, yeah. You know, I just missed the incursion into Lebanon in 1957. I didn't get my wings quite soon enough, and they were pulling out about as quick as they went in, if you remember that or not.
No, I don't remember a lot of going on in 57. I remember learning to read pretty good, and I started reading big books by then.
Right, yeah. Well,
I'm not old as dirt like you, Bob.
57 Chevrolet come out.
I remember
a
that.
pretty good looking vehicle that's been popular all these years. And
I own 2 or 3 of them.
I owned a 57 Chevrolet Bel Air. I also owned a 57 Ford retractable hardtop.
Yeah, and the 57 Ford was good for about 20,000 miles before they started smoking like a
I
train.
guarantee you, you'd have to go up there and rig some oilers up to the front of the motor to get anything done with them, and the old retractable hardtops rattle and let so much dust.
Yeah, you couldn't drive on a dirt road.
You'd have to drive down the road with a handkerchief.
Yeah, we had one, old man had one for a little while. He was in the car lot business, and he had a, I don't know, it was 57, seemed like it was a 59. Did they make them a 59?
Yeah, I think so. 50.
Well, I think it was a 59 when them hard, retractable hardtop went back in the trunk. Everything worked good, but we lived out there, the last 4 miles of the road was gravel, and you couldn't see who was driving until you got home.
I know, I know.
And stop and blow your nose.
You had to ride with a handkerchief
Yeah,
down your nose.
They leaked, oh law. I bet this cold in the winter, wasn't it?
They were. They were. You keep on, I mean, just slightly chill, you had to turn that heater on wide open.
Oh, buddy.
You did not run one without a thermostat.
They didn't try to hide the work. You could watch them little screws screw down and tighten it up. It was a great system. There was more cogwheels and stuff in it than was in the time machine. But that sucker would sure smoke you out whenever you got on a dust road.
And cold as whizzes in the winter time. It was colder than a regular convertible.
Well, I'm sure it was. Because you could put the top down on a regular convertible and get kind of warm, but them fellers, they wasn't thinking about hillbillies whenever they made them things.
Well, they come out with that, and they also come out with a Edsel.
Yeah, and it looked like, what was it, something sucking a lemon, that big emblem on the front of it.
Yeah, I reckon that was a lemon.
Yeah. I'd like to have 3 or 4 Edsels.
What?
I'd like to have 3 or 4 Edsels.
I would too. You know.
I know.
I could have bought a field full of one time.
Yeah, old man had one. He got promised $1 for it, but they didn't give him a cold check. We mashed it up, you know. It was a good one. You couldn't get parts for them, and they mashed it up and promised him $1 for it, and the check bounced. They bought 100 and something cars and crushed them, and he tried to give them to the guy, and he said, "No, we have to pay for them." Okay, what do you give me? He said, "We'll give you $1 a car." And he said, "Okay." So they sat up there for about 2 weeks and mashed cars up and wrote him a check for $100, $200 or something like that.
Check bounce.
And a check bounce. They was from out of state. He tried to give them to them, and they wouldn't take them.
Now we're going to do the honorable thing. You know.
We're going to give you a cold check.
Right. Yeah, you know, we talked a little bit last night, Ronnie and I did, on the internet, if you did not watch it.
But you missed that good show.
Both of us kindly come to the same agreement that this is a great time to make your fortune.
I think so, and it would be a whole lot easier for government to get out of the way. You're going to have to learn to play the game the way they play it. Just be as dirty and low down as you can be with the government, because they will be with you. They'll outlaw, if you find a way to make $1, they'll outlaw it.
Well, they'll move the goalpost on you.
Yeah, you better keep moving with it and thinking of new ideas to stay ahead of them, but there's a fortune to be made if you're willing to tackle the challenge.
Yeah, I do, a lot of times, a lot of people say they would love to go back to the good old days. Well, I have never been all that sure that the good old days was that good, because I remember very, very well getting up in the morning with the floor so cold that your feet would almost stick to it.
Did you ever go in? Did you have a fireplace or a stove?
We had a fireplace in one room, and we finally got uptown, got an extra heater, but we used to have about them little tin stoves, Well,
I remember going in and taking a piece of kindling and holding up against the warm morning stove, and then putting my feet against that piece of wood, so it wouldn't be that close to the stove without touching it, and warming my feet up.
Well, we had a big old wood cook stove in the kitchen that sat crossways across the corner, and in the wintertime we get back there behind that cook stove in a tub and take a bath. And Mama come around and scrub my ears till they hurt.
I'll tell you what, they probably needed it. Sir, that must be what's wrong with them.
That's where you just can't hear good now.
But we got rid of our wood cook stove when I was about 3 or 4 years old, 2 or 3 years old. But I remember it was green and white and had a thermostat built into the front door. Yeah, porcelain finish. It was one baked porcelain finish.
Baked enamel.
Yeah, and
did it have a water jacket on it?
It had a place where you put water.
Right.
I don't think they ever done that, but it was supposed to humidify the place.
Right. That was my job. As soon as I got big enough, I wouldn't cut my fingers off with a hatchet.
Yeah.
It was to go out there and split kindling wood. And we had a lot of rich pine pieces that we called them lighter. You just strike a match to them.
Yeah, old man kept a few pine knots to start. Old man kept some pine knots to start.
Yeah, well, we kept pine knots, and then we catch some heart pine that had just deteriorated until that whole heart pine was light.
Yeah.
I kept that split up, and then before I went to bed at night, I'd go in there and put my kindling in the stove, crisscross it, add one old piece of probably brown paper sack that I put under it, and I had a box of stick matches, and I'd have my other wood laying on top of it, and I'd hit that floor and go down there and light that stove and get it going,
Now, you know why that was the good old days, and despite what you're going to tell me?
Why?
Because there wasn't nobody standing up on the roof measuring your smoke to see if you was within specs.
Right.
There wasn't nobody looking down your stovepipe to see if you was meeting the requirements. There wasn't nobody out there telling you what to do.
Go down to the spring and run the spring lizard out of the way and get you a good drink of water.
Yeah, and there wasn't nobody saying you can't drink out of this.
Right, and it was a carefree time, Today, it seems like every time I get ready to do something, somebody on the telephone will come up with something for me to do.
Maybe you don't have no trouble getting rid of telephones. How many phone numbers have you had since I've known you?
You mean how many have I answered?
No, how many phone numbers have you had?
I don't know, since I've been up here.
625,200 minutes. You've had more than that.
Probably about 10.
No, you've had more than that. You've had that many in the last 2 years.
No, I hadn't either.
You're just a moving target. Ain't nobody can call you.
It's hard to get up with me. But, they were carefree times, you know.
If you want a phone number, write down, get that right there at 5625444. That's Digger Wilson.
Right.
You're gonna need yours.
Talk
Getting
about a
chilly.
moving target. Now, he needs to be a moving target
Getting-
down there in the middle of the
Getting
road.
chilly tonight. You need your backup heater. You better start getting ready for winter time.
You know, if President Assad in Syria would contact Digger, Digger could tell him how to avoid all them missile strikes, because you just look how Digger's been avoiding them cars sitting in the middle of the road all these years.
5625444. If you need any propane, Digger's right in the middle of the road. By the way, speaking of them there missile strikes, I don't think we've got a thing to worry about.
Why?
Because that Assad can't shoot.
He can't.
No.
How you figure?
Well, he killed 1,400 and something civilians and missed every one of them rebels.
Didn't get one of them, did he?
No, how do you do that?
I don't know. But you know, Israel, if
Thank you so
if
much. I
Assad
thought it
does
was that
something
way.
directly to Israel, they don't have any problem just flying right back, just missile defense and everything, and bombing what he wants.
But you think about that. If he done that, what was his intentions? I believe that we've been laid a bill of goods here. I don't believe he shot them there people with that gas. I just absolutely don't believe it. There's no logic to it. I mean, if you're going to shoot it, you at least get a few of them bystanding soldiers. You don't just go out there and kill women and children.
True.
I mean, I could do better with a shotgun than he done with all that.
Well, I don't know what Fort Hood did better than that.
And I reckon he did.
Got 13.
But never fear, the Aflac Duck is going to lead the charge and make sure we retaliate.
Yeah,
Aflac.
I guarantee you know, he and...
Doug TV.
Hey!
Hey, guys. Hey, if Obama can run Assad out of Damascus, wouldn't it be fair for Assad to come over here and shell Washington and run Obama out of Washington?
No, I might help him out if we get by with it, you know. I mean, the only thing I can do is vote, but
Now, I'm going to send him an invite to not only go after Obama, but could he please get rid of McCain and Lindsey Graham while he's there?
well, why not the Aflac Duck, too?
Yeah, that would not.
Yeah, he's already put together a package to get Senate okay for attacking Syria. You can depend on the Aflac Duck to sell out just as soon as a penny changes hands.
I tell you what, if it's legal for us to try to drive Assad out of Damascus, then it ought to be legal for him to come here and run Obama out of Washington.
Yeah, he ought to at least showed up down. His daddy was in charge back then, but Assad Sr., he didn't show up down at Waco, did he?
No, there wasn't, there wasn't no, even no Pizen, maybe Pizen could help us out here in Washington,
You do
Better resources.
You do remember when they gassed them people down in Waco, don't you?
Oh, gosh, yeah. 26 babies.
Yeah.
See,
Hurt to death.
you had such a caring, feminine Attorney General back then.
Well, you had an attorney general. I don't know how feminine she was,
Well,
but she took full responsibility, she said.
Well, you had that FBI sniper that shot that unarmed woman holding a baby up there at Ruby Ridge.
Yeah.
Where was Assad, Putin, and all them people back then? They should have attacked Washington for doing what they were doing to their own people.
I have to agree with you. I mean, we got to look at this thing through the eyes of the international community.
Well, there's, we had a civil war. Did Assad or the Syrians come over here and interfere with our civil war?
No, and that brings us on back to the revolution. I don't remember. We went into Egypt, and we went into Iraq, and we went into everywhere to try to make sure we established a democratic government, but I don't remember Egypt or any of them people being over here during the Revolutionary War to help us out.
Well, we're tampering with the internal affairs of so many countries. It ain't no wonder they're mad at us.
Well, we've got the unifying
If
president in
they
there now.
interfered with our country as much as we interfere with theirs, we'd be flying planes into their one-story buildings too.
Yeah, we
We
would.
don't have skyscrapers.
We would try to figure out how to bomb Afghanistan into the Stone Age, but
But
might
they're
take,
already
might
done
take a little
that.
doing.
We'd had to bomb them forward rather than backward.
But anyway, you guys heard any more about our ash pit controversy?
No, have you?
Well, no, but I'm kind of leaning in favor of it now.
Me too, if you're talking about the dump.
If they will jack the rate up, the citizens pay 10% tax, so this company that wants to dump all this stuff in our backyard should pay us 10%. Right now they're promising only about 1%, and we should go for about 15 or 20% of every ton that goes in there. If it's $100, we ought to get $20
Well,
for that.
look, as long as they meet the current EPA guidelines for operating a disposal of a dump, I think it'd be a good thing.
I do too.
And if they can find 300 acres in my neighborhood and buy it and do all the proper stuff, I won't be one of them not in my backyard kind of people. I think we're foolish. It's them days of them terrible, what do they call that? What was the name? Time Beach things. If that was ever as bad as they said it was to start with, you can't get by with it now.
But what I'm saying is we should get a bigger cut.
I agree with you.
We should negotiate for a bigger cut. We even have Melvin Bowsher's on our side on that one. To heck with this 1% cut. We should get about a 20% cut. I mean, we're talking about billions of dollars here. We're talking about billions in profit.
Well, you got to think about something else too.
So the county should stick it to them. They're sticking it to the rest of us.
Anderson County and Scott County, they ain't dropping like flies around there, and we take our garbage to both them places. They seem to be happy with it.
I don't know. There's a lot of people not doing too well over at Scott County.
No, but they ain't a dying because we're taking our garbage over there.
Yes. They teach dodging bullets in kindergarten over there now. Bullet dodging classes.
Dodge bullet. I've played dodgeball.
Hey, you guys got a great show, buddy.
Thank
Keep
you.
it up.
See you.
See ya. Yeah,
We may have a
Yeah.
commercial. We've got a commercial. I
We
think
have.
we got a commercial. We got a commercial. You got to watch this commercial. You'll
Right.
like it.
I'd like to. I'll go on down and watch it.
Alright, I'm playing it.
Okay, it's just a minute and 8 seconds. We'll watch the clock there, and it gets back up to the 12 again. We'll be
What?
back on.
Why?
If it gets back up to the 12 again, we'll be back on.
All right. Well, we're still on the internet
Yeah.
How about that, folks? We hope that there's no bombs flying your way wherever you are. Did you see all those buildings that had collapsed down in Sao Paulo, Brazil?
No.
Yeah, they got a huge bunch of skyscrapers that look like the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
What happened? A sinkhole?
Had faulty foundations. I mean, they said this.
They needed Dixie concrete, didn't they?
They need to go down there and level them things out.
Yeah. We're gonna have to mention that here shortly.
Yeah, but whether they want anybody down there or not, since they called Obama spying on them.
Brazil.
Yeah.
Oh, do you speak Portuguese?
You're live.
We're back
Yeah,
on.
You're back
Get
on.
you one of them our buck boxes, folks. Everybody needs a buck box.
A what?
A buck box.
Who's got one?
Well, you can have one if you want it.
Not me.
Well, you don't even know what a buck box is.
Right? No, I'm not.
We'll run that commercial again here at the end. You can go watch it. You've been wanting a buck box.
I tell you, boys, the boxes, they ought to come down and buy some of them dog houses that Ronnie's got
Well, these
inside.
buck boxes are a step above the dog houses.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Okay, that's a good
it's a
deal.
buck box.
Huh?
A buck box.
Buck.
Buck box.
Okay, you talking about when you hunt bucks out there?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you realize other than wearing my hearing aid, they gonna need some hearing plugs if they shoot a gun off of one of them buildings?
Well, you're going to have them before you pull the trigger.
You daggone right.
You don't
are.
need it. After the first round or two, you don't pay any attention to it.
You won't even pay any attention to the deer.
No. Give you a headache, maybe.
I guarantee you it will.
Well, you're supposed to have proper hearing protection when you go hunting.
I'm gonna stick my head out one mirror and with a mirror and shoot backwards.
Annie Oakley used to do that. We were just discussing. Go
My
ahead.
dad went to a Wild West show that Annie Oakley was in, and I believe it was Sitting Bull was there. You got to see Sitting Bull. And
When was this?
this was in somewhere in Arizona.
No, when, not where.
Oh, probably 1914, 1915, somewhere along in there.
Is old Squatting Heifer still alive then?
Hey,
Sitting Bull, was he still
he
alive?
was still alive then.
Squatting Heifer was his wife.
Yeah, I
wasn't
think so.
Yeah.
I thought, you heard about the, how'd it go? This Indian
he? Well, that's good. A Native
name
American.
was Shortcake.
Shortcake?
That was the Indian chief's name.
Hmm.
And when he died, they said Squawberry Shortcake.
Squawberry Shortcake. Well, I thought they cremated their dead.
Put him up on a funeral pyre.
Yeah.
Well, you know, down where I'm from, Creek Indians were there, Northern Cherokees. Down where I live.
Oh, Andy
And they-
Jackson wore them fellas out.
They,
Andy Jackson wore them fellas out.
when I was, yeah, he did. He pushed them around that much. But they buried their men and women standing up.
Didn't take up as much room, did it?
Huh?
Didn't take up as
Well,
much room.
why they did it that way, but there's a field down there that they used to plow that field, and we used to fly over it, and you could actually see where the graves were in there, all over that field. It was a burial site.
They used to bury them poets over there standing up, didn't they?
Those who?
Them poets over there. Where was it? Over there in England when they used
Over
to?
there in,
Where'd they bury them guys? And they buried them fellas standing up to save room.
yeah, in the sarcophagus standing there.
Yeah, them there Keats and Shelley and all them other fellas. Of course, I don't know what about
Right,
them, but
yeah.
there's a bunch of them poets.
Yeah,
Sir Thomas
built a
More or
sarcophagus
somebody, they
and
buried him standing
stand him
up.
up in the sarcophagus, yeah.
By the way, you were talking about some leaning towers down in Sao Paulo, Brazil.
Some what?
Some towers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, they're big skyscrapers, big apartment houses. They said there was 17,000 people in those apartments that were going to move out.
And the foundation gave way and they leaned.
Yeah, they leaned the
I bet that'll wake you up an hour, won't it?
I bet so.
Just keep in mind that if you're going to build anything tall or short or middle size, you better use a foundation made out of Dixie concrete.
It will not lean.
562-5656. You won't have no trouble with your leaning tower if you use that Dixie concrete to hold it up.
Go on down and see Dixie. They got the hardest concrete known to man.
As long as you need a septic system or maybe just some gravels or sand or something like that, Dixie Concrete's the people to call. UGG TV.
Hey,
Hey, good evening, TV.
how are you?
Howdy.
Hey, gentlemen, on this dump thing, I've got some opinions or thoughts or whatever on the thing.
And we'll give you 5 minutes. Your time starts right now.
And some of it's done gone. From what I'm hearing, of course, all we hear is propaganda. I don't have any paperwork. I don't have any facts. I've also heard that they're going to have a public hearing sometime here in the near future. I haven't heard the date yet, but I've heard it's pretty soon. If we're having a public hearing, that means this thing's a lot further along than people are thinking. Because all your engineering, you got to go before the EPA and all this other stuff prior to a public hearing. Public hearing is about the last thing you have before the wheels are already turning on. Okay, let me run something by you. They say that they're going to pay the county this or that or whatever else. If the county has no say-so over it, the property's privately owned, and it meets all EPA regulations, why would they pay the county?
I agree with you 100%.
That's what I'm saying. Why would they pay them anything?
The only thing I can see the county's got a claim to is they ought to be able to tax it as a legitimate business.
Well,
And I think that's where that 1% comes in, because that's something like a business tax, and I don't know where you can legitimately tax one business 10% and another business 1%.
I don't know about that, how they could do that. But anyhow, let me show you how. If I was a shifty business person, what I would do is I would set me up 2 or 3 companies. And when I went to dumping on this site, what I would do is I would cease to pay any taxes whatsoever. All right? Now, the reason I would do this is let the county tax bill run so high, just don't pay no taxes. And here being the reason, the county, it'd be just like a meth house.
Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah. They don't dare take it over, do they?
No, sir. They would not take it over, because anything that you dump on a piece of property, I don't care what you do to it, if you contaminate it or whatever, cleanup follows the title.
Yeah, I know where you can get a piece of property right cheap if you just let them sign it over to you.
There's a lot of property that people would give you if you would take on the
I think
responsibility.
the city's got a piece up there in Ivydale they'd like to get off on somebody.
That's correct. And I did finish the 3rd grade, but some of this stuff, if you'll stop and think about it, it makes sense. They're not obligated to pay the county squat. Now, they might promise them everything under the sun. And once this stuff is there, it'll go away in a year. You believe that? That fly ash will be there, and whatever it is, whatever we put in there, I don't care what it is, it'll be there forever. Now, I know that we do produce waste. That's part of whatever our society. We, in my opinion, should be looking at incinerating this waste, producing steam, and producing electricity. Maybe not as much as TVA does, but producing whatever we can.
Well, we're producing electricity down there at Chestnut Ridge, is that what it's called? Down there where they burn that methane.
Well, they did for a while. I don't know what they're doing right now.
They're still burning it because you can smell it.
I don't know if they're generating. That was a big thing when they first started doing that. But this fly ash won't produce gas like that, to produce that. And if they're bringing this stuff in by rail, we have no idea what's going to be in this. There's not going to be somebody out there monitoring this stuff.
You want to bet?
Chemicals are in it. You could take.
You want to bet that it won't be monitored?
A train load, or a car load of whatever. And who's going to monitor it?
The same people that monitors everything else goes on. You know good and well that you can't do nothing without somebody got their nose running your business.
Well, fellas, anyhow, as long as it makes $1, I guess that's all that counts. As long as we can make $1 off of it.
Now, I really don't think the county's entitled to more than just a normal business tax. These people are operating a legitimate business on property they own.
Well, that is correct. They own the property. They can do with it as they see.
And I think they ought to have to follow all the EPA and environmental regulations, just like you do, just like I do, just like everybody else does. And after that, I think they ought to be left alone.
There's companies right now in the United States that are not, they're foreign countries, that are so
That's right, but that's the problem of enforcement. You know good and well that you're supposed to, and I'm not saying it happens, but you're supposed to enforce the laws equally. Now, you take for instance, you take
that part there where, I'm sorry, go ahead.
You take, for instance, whenever Exxon spilled 11 billion gallons of crude oil in off the coast of Alaska, they had to go in there and clean it up. But their solution was they were big enough; they just raised their prices and recouped all their expenses. But you go out there, a little mom and pop operation, and spill a quart of oil in the yard. And if they want to press it, it'll take everything you got to get them to hush.
Well, I don't believe you have to spill a quart. I believe if it's a cup or a half a cup somewhere's where you come.
And if you can shine a light on it in the sunshine and see a rainbow reflection, you're in trouble.
There you go. But gentlemen, if we're having a public hearing, this thing's a lot further than we're thinking. But what we do as a society, as a group, whenever they wave that number in front of us, $1 a ton, do you know what that dollar is going to be worth 5, 10 years down the road? It ain't going to be worth squat, is what it's already going to suffice. But anyhow, gentlemen, maybe you can get some comments. It seems to me like a lot of the people are beginning to support this thing, and the only thing I see to support it, of course, I believe in property rights, and I guess it's whatever they do is whatever they do. But anyhow, let me make a comment also on this thing in Syria, where this guy is supposed to have gassed these people, or according to their proof. Whenever I see them putting those people in the ground and a bulldozer covering them up, have you seen that anywhere where they're burying these people?
No, they've all got them laid out there on the floor taking pictures of them.
Well, but have you seen any of them being buried?
Well, I'm still curious as to how you could shoot off and not kill a few of the enemy. I mean, the rebels, the insurgents, the soldiers on the other side, all they seem to have killed is women, children, and old men.
Maybe they were immune. Maybe their soldiers were inoculated against this nerve gas. What I've seen from the demonstrations and whatever on TV and the military channel and whatever else, if a soldier comes in contact with this stuff, if he doesn't get an injection within a certain amount of seconds, he's done for. You don't go out there and squirt water in his face and bring him around, or he don't do a whole lot of other things from what I'm seeing. And of course, how do you know whether it's true or not? But a person that gets hit with that nerve gas is dead instantly within a few seconds or whatever. Gentlemen, something to think about. And with Obamacare coming up here, starting the preliminary parts of it starts October the 1st, this sure does cover up a lot of other stuff. Keeps us from looking at whatever's going on. Gentlemen, appreciate you.
I'd like to point out something.
Maybe you can get some comments.
I'd like to point out something that we're a very liberal talk show. You've already had 8 minutes, and we appreciate you calling.
I know that. You have to listen back in when you hang up. I'm going to give you an analogy of Obama's red line in the sand.
Oh, he didn't draw that.
No, the UN treaty years ago did.
Yeah, he didn't draw
Pre-UN.
Gentlemen, thank you for your time.
Hey,
Yeah.
I guess it's League of Nations. Okay, what's your analogy?
Well, my analogy is when he pops his mouth off back in August of last year. The way it's turned out, it reminds me of a bunch of 2 elementary boys, where one says, "You spit over my hand and you gonna really get it." Then he says, "If you do it again, now you gonna really get it this time."
Really?
Yeah, you're gonna really get it. And that's about like 2 elementary kids daring one another to spit over their hand.
It has been the most amateurish thing I've ever seen.
He did not draw this line in the sand, that the international community had drawn this line in the sand. It's a funny thing to me, if they drew the line in the sand, how come they're not following him in the punishment of Syria? And also, on this resolution that they're getting ready to pass, I would hope that our senators would abstain from voting on it.
Well, Frank Duck's leading the
I
charge.
know that, but the only resolution I would support would be one that says, I neither condone nor reject the idea of taking action against Syria. You gave birth to this problem. Now you raised it and handle it because you're the one that originated it.
I'll tell you what I want to see. I want to see it pass the Senate on a Democrat vote and fail the House on a Republican vote. And then Obama can do whatever he decides to do, because he's not going to have unanimous approval. He can pick the Senate and go with them, and they're stuck with it. Or he can blame it on the House and
Yeah, but
pull
the
out.
House has to vote on it.
I think they both have to vote on it. Well, maybe not, but they're both going to vote.
Senate's the only one that handles foreign.
Well, they declare war, I think. But the Senate, the House is going to vote.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Boehner's already come out in support of it, and so's
Well, I know
Kennedy.
he's for it, but I don't mean they're gonna vote on it.
Well, I think they're wanting a joint resolution.
Right, that's probably what they're wanting, a joint
Not a
resolution. And I agree
not a
with
dec-
you.
not a
I hope
declaration
the
of war.
House turns it down, and in fact, in the Senate, Rand Paul has threatened to filibuster.
I think he's backed out on that. Figured it wasn't no use from getting a horse and having to pee in a bucket.
Right.
But the thing about it is, that will split the thing and put it back in Obama's court, and that's the only way I don't know where
Well,
they...
they need to put it back in his court because he gave that ultimatum in August of 2012. All right, they violated it. Okay.
Yeah. Well, when you're a community organizer, you can talk trash, but when you're president of the United States,
Right.
you're supposed to have your ducks in order
Said
before
that
you
right.
start talking.
And from August of 2012 to August 2013, he didn't have anything ready to do. He had no plan. He had nothing. Just as like he had never issued that ultimatum.
You know, you can't play golf and plan.
It's hard to.
Tell them about that car show,
Yeah,
Bob.
yeah. We've got the L.A. Cruisers coming up for their annual open car, truck, and motorcycle show. This is actually their 12th annual open car, truck, and motorcycle show. It's coming up on the 21st day of this month, which is a Saturday. It's from 10 a.m. in the morning till 4 p.m. in the afternoon. There's no admission for the general public. There is a $10 registration fee for those people who want to enter their automobile, motorcycle, or truck in the contest. It's going to be located at Gamble County High School. It's right across from my place. You can come over and buy something while you're over there. They're gonna
Get you a buck box.
Right, they're going to give away 1,000 cash. They will have $2,500 drawings. And
No, they won't. No.
Why?
$50 drawing.
Oh yeah, okay. What did they 20?
500.
Okay, $50 drawings.
That'd be $10,000.
That's
We'd
right.
lose money on
Look,
that.
I just made your event worth a lot more money. Of course, when they get up there and they beat the Lord out of you, because you don't have no $1,000.
He's got me shot at too.
They talk about you don't have any $500 drawings, $50 drawings, $1,000 they're gonna give away, and of course they have plaques and they have trophies and they have ribbons, and it's free to the public.
Well, the only way to get a hot rod ready to show off is to get it all tuned up with some Napa auto
Yeah,
parts.
I said that right. I guarantee you, between now and the 21st, Napa can have enough stuff in there to put you
They can get
in
anywhere.
the #1 position.
They get you a tail light or a spark plug or a fender or a bumper.
Right.
They can do it all.
Said that
Cost
right.
some IGA 562-9394-9406.
9406. Okay.
Napa. N-A-P-A spells
Right.
Napa.
They're right across the street from IGA, and he'll get whatever he ain't got it. If you ain't got it, he'll get it for you.
Yeah, I gotta go up and get me a tie rod in for my forklift.
I'm gonna break down and change oil on that '94 truck. The one I bought off of Kramer several years ago, I never changed oil in.
Well, I didn't know you had a 90 Ford
Had a
truck.
little box truck.
You got that from Kramer?
Yeah, I did.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Who'd you sell that you got from
To
Diana?
Delwood Gamble. And he
Oh.
told he sold it.
Did you ever put the top back on it?
Yeah,
Did you?
yeah.
It had a top on it 'cause he went under a low bridge. Had to lift the air out of the tire to get it loose.
I just misjudged that trestle.
Yeah, did you have to let the air out of the tires?
No, no.
Didn't get hung then.
No, it didn't get hung.
Make a noise, did it?
What?
Did it make any noise?
It made a little bit
Didn't
of
it
noise.
have one of them see-through tops in it?
What?
Didn't it have one of them see-through tops in it?
Yeah.
It had a real see-through top in it, and you got down with it.
Hey, I
It
guarantee
rained
you
through
that.
it.
Yeah, I bought some material off your buddy there. And
Napa, NAPA, 5629406. We
Right.
can get you some parts for your
good
car.
people to deal with.
What else, Bobby T?
Well, I don't know, you know, I just get so disgusted with the way things go, you know. You need to ask yourself, once we do this over there in Syria, and we spend somewhere in the neighborhood of $70 billion, are we, is America going to be any better off?
Well, I can't figure out, either one of them wins are going to be any better off. The ones in there now is doing us less harm than the ones that's going in, I'm willing to bet. I don't understand all these people wants to go stick their nose and everything. I'm not an isolationist, but I know whenever you ain't doing yourself no good, you don't need to be involved in it.
Why? Well, you look what all Obama has been for. He was for Mubarak being kicked out of Egypt.
Yep.
He's been a friend to the United States for 20-some years, ever since the Nasser and Sadat. He came in after Anwar Sadat, I believe, and Sadat came in after Gamal Abdul Nasser, I believe.
No. That there woman was in there before him.
Egypt had a woman.
Yeah, it was Nasser's daughter, wasn't it?
I don't remember
What was her name?
about that. I remember about the Answar Dam. That's about all I remember, you know.
High Dam.
Yeah, it's a
Has
high dam.
one High Dam.
Yeah, and I know that the Nile River is one of the few rivers in the world to run north.
Who was that woman they killed?
Oh, that was Bernadine.
No, I'm not talking about Pakistan. Well, it don't matter.
Well, what's her name got killed in India?
I guess that's who I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
I guess you're right.
She was,
But there was somebody in there between Nasser and Sadat, too.
I think so. I think there was too.
Now, the next thing is, the only time that he could have intervened in somewhere something was going on in the Middle East and possibly accomplished something in our interest was the Green Revolution in Iran, and he stayed home for that.
Yeah. He didn't have
They got
anything.
them people pumped up, and
Yeah.
they went out in the streets and
They got
started.
themselves killed.
Yeah, and he said, well, you know, this is, you ever heard of the Bay of Pigs? He said, well, this is, you people don't even eat pigs over there, I'm going to house.
Right. Yeah, he did do that. He got them all riled up, and they thought he was going to come marching over the hill, and nothing.
TV.
Hey,
One of them's name was Haile Selassie.
That was in Ethiopia.
Well,
Haile Selassie.
she had the jewel right in front of her, middle of her forehead, and they shot it out. Was that Nehru's daughter?
I don't know. I think I don't know. I'm confused. I've lost track.
Well,
Haile Selassie was.
Well, he was Ethiopian. And he was the longest ruling.
Bob looks like
Monarch.
a classic car.
He looked like what?
A classic car.
You look like a classic car, Bob.
I do.
What kind?
It's been wrecked
It's been wrecked. Would you wouldn't think it might be a Studebaker, would you?
Them stud busters was pretty cold.
Yeah, these are going to some places about as bad as the Hudson. They look the same both
where's
directions.
you fellas tea bags?
Our tea bags,
Yeah.
we ain't got no tea bags.
You used to swing them around when the tea party started.
We never had no tea bags.
Huh?
We didn't have any tea bags.
The
You
one
ever,
had down the courthouse slinging them around.
I wasn't down there.
Well, somebody, if they'd have slung a tea bag in my face, I'd have slapped them on the ground and I'd have went to jail.
What you need to do is
Oh,
get.
I'll tell you what, I like tea too good for them to sling them bags in my face.
What would you have done in Boston during the Boston Tea Party, 1775? What would you have done then when you had took no part in the Tea Party?
I'd have run as fast as I could and I'd have got away from that place.
Well, I understand. I'd say that's Haile Selassie.
Well, I called, I want you to pray for my granddaughter, Brandy.
You know that,
Wait a minute, what'd you say?
Pray for my granddaughter, Brandy Wilson. She's in UT Hospital. They pumped a bunch of fluid off her lungs, and they was going to take her in surgery and pump some more. She's in real critical
How
condition.
old is she?
That's Charles and Phyllis Wilson's granddaughter. and
how old is she?
How old is she?
25.
Well, we certainly wish her well.
So that gives you, I drop a thought on you that we all need to say a lot of prayers for our nation, our country, the world leaders. There's been more prayers said this week, I'd say it's been said in a long, long time. What do you say?
Well, I hope so.
I
Yeah.
hope so too. I believe a lot of them politicians is going to have to come down off their high horses and get something going here. So you guys take care, and I'll pray for
Let me
you.
ask something. Are you aware that the Ethiopians are supposed to be the guardians of the Ark of the Covenant?
Yeah,
Okay.
there ain't going to be no cover if we don't get some of this stuff stopped that's been going on with this poison gas.
That's about the truth.
Good luck, ma'am.
See ya.
Hope your granddaughter does better.
Right.
See you. Yeah, you know, Haile Selassie, didn't he claim to be? No, that was that other guy, that one Entebbe guy. What was his
Yeah.
name?
Yeah, Idi Amin.
Yeah, he was the one claimed to be a direct descendant of Solomon.
Yeah.
He maybe have been, I don't know.
Well, Solomon got us had 900 and some wives, you know.
Yeah, it'd
That's
be hard not to be kin to him, wouldn't it?
That was the reason he was so smart. He had so many women that told him the news.
That's it. Haile Selassie.
You know, Edie claimed to be a descendant of Solomon. But you look, you know, I just wonder what kind of relationship Obama had with those people that live in Rwanda.
I don't know, they're getting hacked to death over
Yeah,
there.
there was over 1 million people hacked to death with a machete last year. So I think Obama needs to go over and pass some regulations
He
against
needs to get machete control over
Yeah,
there.
he does. He needs to have the Affordable Machete Control Act passed.
That's why we need concealed carry in this country in case there's a machete uprising. If you get hit with a machete or just drop one on your foot or scalded or something and need a ride to the hospital, you need to call Vital Care.
That's 562-9370.
They are able to do independently their business so well that they have repeat customers.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, you know, I've just been thinking just about maybe just plain sick just so I could ride.
Well, don't use their precious resources up on foolishness. They're there to take care of sick people, not mentally ill people necessarily.
Well, they can send the boys in white coats.
Yeah, well, they've got a good setup there. They know how to take care of their customers, their patients. Their customers are patients.
Like you got 40 years experience in the ambulance business, and the old saying that you do get tender loving care when you call Vital Care.
We highly recommend them, not to be confused with Highly Selassie.
I do highly recommend them. They took me and got me well.
Made a man out of it, made you what you are today, didn't it?
That's right. They did it. But call Vital Care if you can't remember their number, 562-9370. Just call 911, tell them you want Vital Care to come pick you up.
They take all kinds of insurance, and they're happy to serve you and make you as comfortable as possible and deliver you to your wherever you need to go in the most efficient and courteous manner imaginable.
Right, they do that. Just go and take care. It won't cost the taxpayers any money.
So what else you got for sale,
Oh
Bob?
Lord, I've got hot water heaters. I got
Now wait a minute.
beautiful
If you got hot water, you don't need a heater.
hot water. I got heaters to make hot water.
Make hot water.
It's a hot. Just kind of depends